Hey everyone, welcome back to Poppin' In with Alexa and Molly. I'm Molly.
And I'm Alexa.
And we are two little frozen snow girls,
Yes.
cuddled up.
But
you have a cozy little sweater.
I do. I love this sweater. I've been wearing it the entire snowstorm. Don't judge me.
Okay.
But you made the treacherous trek here.
Yeah.
Because we're dedicated to this podcast and our fans.
We could have done this on Zoom through a soup can.
Yeah. But you know what?
Sounding
we're like the postal
audio.
service. Rain, sleet, snow, whatever. We've come to deliver the pop culture straight to your ears.
Once the ice melts a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't melt. It was treacherous getting here. I'm not going to lie to you all.
Really?
It was.
Okay.
Not the roads, but just my driveway.
Yeah.
My driveway alone was an odyssey.
Yeah. It was an odyssey. The theme of this year.
Yeah. But we're here, and I'm really excited.
Me too.
We have so many good topics today.
We do. The weather was cold, but the pop culture was hot. Yeah. And also, you know what? We were talking about this. We need to preface. We want you guys to know that we are up to date on pop culture, but for some reason, every week, the day after we record, it all happens.
I know.
Everything happens in this world.
And we could call for an emergency episode, but, we're busy.
Yeah.
And we love you guys, but we do also have
jobs.
So sometimes it just doesn't take priority. And then, unfortunately, it's like we get to it a week later. But you know what? This week, we're not doing that. I'm here.
We're caught up.
Here, and we're caught up, and we have the information. We have the allegeds.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
Yeah. Serving it straight to you. So let's get into it. The drama was drama-ing. The families were breaking.
But first, what have you been popping in with?
Okay. I forgot about that. Even though I knew what I was going to say.
You're just the one to ask.
I am really popping in with industry.
Okay.
And I just have to say, we're a few episodes into the new season, and this season is like better than ever.
Is it?
And I know you
Why
watch.
are they dressed in like period clothing?
You gotta watch.
But why? You can't just quickly tell me.
I mean, it's not that crazy. It's just a theme party for someone's birthday, but it really adds to like the heightens.
Okay. Because I'm like, I see Kit Harington in a period costume, and I'm like, yes.
Honestly, I think if you didn't care, like you watched the first episode,
I thought it was good.
Yeah, and I think like it really is one of those like shows that season by season builds on quality. I thought last season was phenomenal. This season is shaping up to be even better. And this one podcast I was saying, they were like, this is true like prestige television where it's like well written, the characters are interesting, but also it's got like some humor in it that keeps you coming back. Like it's not too heavy, and it's an enjoyable show.
I even just after one episode recommended it to someone at work because I was like, I think you would like this.
A lot of
Aren't you
weird
proud of me?
sex though. I am proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you think you'll continue?
I want to. I want to finish Mad Men. I'm so deep in the trenches with Mad Men right now, my rewatch. So I need to finish that, and then I might devote my time to.
What season are you on?
6.
Out of, what is it, 8?
7.
7? Oh, wow. You're really, okay.
I watched a lot of Mad Men this weekend. I'm not even joking.
Like what else are you going to do?
I know.
What are you popping with?
Okay, so I've started watching, and I know you're going to like roll your eyes a little bit, but I've started watching The Beauty, which is Ryan Murphy's new show. And, like, it's a Ryan Murphy show, so I can't sit here and be like, it's amazing, but I really like it. Mm-hmm. And I know, like, say what you will about Ryan Murphy, but you know what you're getting into when you watch it. And so I knew what I was getting into. Evan Peters.
I forgot he was in
He is.
There's something else that Evan Peters is in, too, right? That's coming out or something? How much stuff has he done that's not, like, a Ryan Murphy affiliate?
He did Mayor of Easttown.
Oh, yeah, which was
is
good.
What he, like, won Emmys for.
That's crazy you didn't watch that considering he's in it.
I know, I want to.
It was good.
He's also and actually, speaking of Mayor of Easttown, I'm going to talk about somebody who's in that show today, but he's also in, like, the X-Men stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
I love him. But, so I love him, and normally I'm like, he's my man, but I love, and I don't know if you'll know who this is, but this is my popping in, but it's also my, like, man of the week.
Okay.
Is Anthony
throwback.
Anthony Ramos, who is in The Beauty, and I just really love him.
That name sounds. What else has he been in?
He's from Hamilton. That's kind of his like. He's like he was in Hamilton, but now he's like in a bunch of stuff. He was in Twister with Glenn Powell.
Okay, yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I like really like him in the show, and also I'm like
I was really nervous.
I never thought about him like that, but I really like him.
You were like, okay, so like also it's not. I was supposed to say Michael Cera. Evan Peters.
Yeah.
I was like, who is she about to say? I was like,
I'm not going to say Ashton Kutcher.
I was like, you know
God,
what?
no.
If I would
When I was younger, yeah. When I was like in middle school, I loved Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, yeah. I used to watch so much of that 70s show.
Me too.
And my mom, like, got mad at me a few years ago. She was like, you never watched that? You weren't allowed to watch it. And I said, well, you weren't doing a good job of monitoring then, because I've seen every episode.
It's one of those shows where it's like, I say that I don't think of me as, like, watching it, but, like, I did watch it a lot.
It was always on.
It was always on.
Channel 19, specifically, if you live in the local area.
Yeah. What would that be? ABC Family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always on. But with Freeform now. But anyways, okay, well, I'm happy for you. I'm curious, like, it's basically The Substance, right?
It kind of is,
Okay.
but it's got a lot of good people in it. It's also, I mean, they release 3 episodes at once, and then it's weekly, so I have to wait until next Friday, or this Friday, to watch the next episode.
You know what? A lot of shows have been doing that recently, which I kind of appreciate, but also, like, I started watching The Traitors, and I was like, wait, they released, like, it was something where it was like, they released 3 episodes, and then the next week they released 2, and then they released, like, 1 after that. And I was like, well, I don't know your scheduling.
So it makes sense, like, when you think about it, if, like, they're really trying to if it's a new show and they're like, okay, it doesn't get good until episode 3 or something, then it's like, I can understand why they would do that. If they're like, okay, you just got to stick with us.
Yeah. I just sometimes, like Tell Me Lies did that recently, where they released the first 3 episodes, but then I was like, now I don't know, like, when I'm supposed, like, I just don't know what to expect, and that's not good for someone on Prozac like me, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Anxiety-ridden.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay.
Anxiety-ridden.
Yes, let's get into
talk about
it.
that.
We're taking a trip across the pond.
Oh.
Getting a little British. Sorry, everyone. You guys know I love.
You should issue an apology.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You do love the Beckhams, don't you?
I actually don't care about them that much, and
Okay.
I'll let you, like, get into it, but I will say, like, I listen to a lot of British podcasts, and I realized how much the British people love and care about the Beckhams, because I have known about this feud for, like, the past year, because they all have been, like, kind of talking about it, whereas on my American podcasts, they like maybe will mention it or whatever, but it just seems like the American side, people were not caring as much.
No, because it's like I've always known Brooklyn, like, who Brooklyn Beckham is. Obviously I know, like, David Beckham and Victoria, but I just like I've kind of know Brooklyn, but, like, not so fill in gaps where you need to. I do think I have a pretty solid timeline of events, but fill in if you have, like, additional info. But so the Beckhams, they are, like, this is really reminding me. It's funny that you say that about, like, England caring so much about them, because it is reminding me of the royals, like, this whole feud.
People compared this a lot to, like, Harry and Meghan.
Makes sense. Yeah, it literally is. I didn't know they were like
Worldwide privacy tour.
I didn't know that, like, Beckham brand was a thing.
Really? Yes, it's hugely a thing. Like, there's a lot of suspicion. I watched, like, both their documentaries recently where people be like, oh, like, they're so happy and in love. And it's like, it's very clear, like, David, there's one time where he cheated on her and, like, she knew about it was in the press, but it's also like he is cheating on her regularly, but it's all about, like, Beckham brand. And that's like they do all these things to, like, build this brand, even, like, their documentaries that they did and stuff. It's a powerful money house.
It's crazy.
Powerhouse moneymaker.
Yeah. And so basically, okay, so we've gotten into it's the Beckham family we're talking about. Their son Brooklyn has cut them off. They're dunzo. He's no longer talking to them. He's taking the side of his wife, Nicola. Is it Nicola or Nicola?
I think it's Nicola.
Okay, it's
Peltz?
hard for some reason. It's, like, hard for me to say that naturally.
Yeah,
Nicola Peltz Beckham.
Nicola. Nicola.
That's what I think when I see your name. I'm thinking that, so I'm like, please check me. Keep me honest.
Yeah.
So
me of all people.
Yeah. So, like Alexa was saying, I think this feud, it's been a rumored feud for kind of a while now. But just recently it was very much confirmed by Brooklyn himself in a series of, like, scathing Instagram story posts. But basically Brooklyn has cut off David and Victoria Beckham, his parents, and he's kind of saying that they've been controlling the narrative, and now he's just speaking his truth. But basically, I mean, this, like, feud goes back. It started out sort of as, like, wedding day drama, potentially. But, like, so I'll just kind of go into who they are, because for those who don't know, obviously Brooklyn is David and Victoria's son, but Nicola. Nicola.
Yeah.
She's an actress. She was in Bates Motel, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
She wrote and directed a film a couple years ago that got horrible reviews because people said it was basically just like like untapped like poverty porn, where it's just like you clearly, because as I'm sure you're going to mention, she's an heiress.
Yeah.
An heiress.
Well, yeah, because I wasn't really going to go into that too much other than she has a family estate because that's where they got married.
Yeah.
And so basically, she's a little bit older than him. She's like 31. He's 26. And it's not a huge age gap. But I just want to note
it's no Leonardo DiCaprio.
Because I do think that's sort of maybe going into a little bit of the narrative of like maybe she's controlling him. And anyway, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that might have been the narrative. And then I want to say Brooklyn is the author of one of my favorite things in the entire world, the greatest photography book. Mm-hmm. I know we've talked about it on here before. Yeah. I gotta say a couple.
Let's
key
give a
quotes.
quick recap. Yeah.
Elephants in Kenya, so hard to photograph, but incredible to see. It's the back of an elephant with just a shadow. You can't even
elephant ass.
He's right. They're hard to photograph. You can't see it. All in lowercase writing. My other favorite.
Yeah.
Dinner. I like this picture. It's out of focus, but you can tell there's a lot going on. Great.
I believe it. Yeah.
Phenomenal. I love that. I just love.
He is and I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatever, but I think he's like a stereotypical like fail son in a way, where I think David really wanted him to be a footballer, and that was bad.
He's a photographer.
Yeah, and he also, they sent him to culinary school at one point because he wanted to be a chef. He has all these like failed careers, and it's like the curse of wealth a little bit. I know,
and I'm curious to hear your perspective on this, and I'll ask we'll talk about it after. But basically, it's just interesting. Well, but okay, one thing. We can make fun of him, but like he stands by his wife, and I gotta respect it. I gotta respect him for that. And so, like, basically, rumors kind of started like circulating that the family was feuding, kind of, after Brooklyn and Nicola's wedding in 2022, where so it took place at her family estate, and so the two have been together since 2019. And they got married in 2022. So, weirdly, the rumors started because Nicola was wearing a Valentino wedding gown, instead of one designed by Victoria Beckham. And at first I was like, well, wait, why would she wear her mother's, like her mother-in-law's gown? Like, why would that be a thing? Mm-hmm. But apparently she actually designed one for her, and she didn't wear it.
Yeah.
And so that a lot of people were like, wait, that's weird. And then obviously it kind of like started some rumors that they weren't getting along, and she did, to the point where like Nicola did actually like address the rumors, and she said there's not a feud between her and Victoria. She said she wanted to wear the dress, but she didn't, and she didn't say why she didn't. Like, it was just kind of weird, but that kind of settled. And then 2025, the documentary came out, all that. But so Romeo is one of their sons.
Yeah,
he started dating DJ Kim Turnbull.
Yeah.
Who had allegedly dated Brooklyn prior to Nicola. And so TMZ reported that Romeo and Brooklyn were not speaking. They weren't on speaking terms because of that. And it was just kind of like a whole messy thing.
Yeah.
And then it was noted that Brooklyn and Nicola were not at David's 50th birthday. And Romeo posted a photo of it and like even said like family is everything. And like he didn't tag Brooklyn and Nicola.
Yeah.
And they also didn't attend Victoria's fashion show that year. And they also, so they renewed their vows that year. And which I would think like, surface, I would think like that's kind of weird. It's not even been 4 years and you're already renewing your vows.
Yeah.
And so they renewed their vows. They weren't there. None of the family was there, except for Adrian Brody was randomly there, which I saw.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It was like, what? I didn't know. I
think like you'll probably get into this, but they were like, we wanted to renew our vows because they said our wedding day was basically like
ruined. So I'll get into it because like I think like a lot of people were just, well, at least I am like, why? Like
they were like, we don't want Victoria, Adrian only.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
he spits his gum out into their hand.
Yeah. And then Victoria had her documentary premiere, the Netflix documentary. They weren't there for that. And so And then it was like noted that Brooklyn unfollowed his parents on Instagram, which I always think, I'm like, who is keeping track of that?
Oh, people are keeping track.
And okay, in this situation, I do think it was maybe like the parents.
Yeah. And
putting it to the press. But normally when people are like, so-and-so unfollowed so-and-so, I'm just like, why are you watching for that?
Sometimes people pay too much attention to social media. Unrelated, do you look at who likes your photos?
No.
I don't think I've ever looked. And like someone will be like, oh, so-and-so didn't like my photo. I'm like, that's crazy. I don't even know. Yeah. I forgot I posted that.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I used to like, honestly, I used to have an app where it would show me like who unfollowed me. Yeah. So that way I just never wanted to follow someone who wasn't following me. Now, unfollow me. I could care less. If I'm following you and you're not following me, like I wouldn't know the difference.
Whatever. Continue.
So then, and so actually Cruz Beckham, which is another one of their sons, said my parents would never, because like there was a report about it, and he said my parents would never unfollow their son. They woke up blocked, and so did I. So, like, Brooklyn blocked the whole family on Instagram, and that was a whole thing. So then, just this month, Brooklyn released this, like, scathing series of kind of just, like, bombshell Instagram story posts, basically saying that his parents are controlling the narrative, and he had no choice but to speak up for himself and tell the truth. And he basically said, he went into some serious detail. He said that his parents essentially tried to ruin his relationship with Nicola since their wedding, like endlessly, or since before their wedding. Like, okay, so his mom, to the dress thing, his mom canceled making the dress, despite how excited Nicola was to wear it. She like canceled it within like the 11th hour, forcing her to urgently find a new dress. And then his parents this was weird. So his parents apparently pressured him to sign away his name, the rights to his name, before the wedding, which obviously would like affect him and his wife and his future children. And so he like held out on that, and apparently his holdout affected the payday. And so he says, since then, my parents, like, it's never been the same.
Yeah.
And he also said that the night before their wedding, family members were telling Brooklyn that like Nicola wasn't blood and real family. I don't know which family members, but he's like received endless attacks from his parents, both privately and publicly, that were like sent to the press on their orders. So they're the ones releasing all this press, which like it just really goes to show. It's like whenever you see things in TMZ or things on Page 6, it's like probably it's somebody.
Well, because you have to remember, like, Brand Beckham. So if you think about, like, Brooklyn Beckham, literally, I think, I can't remember if it was the Daily Mail or something, but when he was born, like, David and Victoria sold his, like, baby pictures. Like, they were one of the first couples to really do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, they have been controlling their narrative for a while. However, I do have some
him since he was born.
Yes, but I do have some holes to poke in some of the things he states, but continue.
Okay. See I'm curious. So then he said that during their wedding, and this is my favorite one.
Yeah.
You've probably seen
the
but he talked about how his mom basically stole Nicola's first dance. So he said, in front of our 500 wedding guests, Mark Anthony called me to the stage where in the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife, but instead my mom was waiting to dance with me. He said she danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone.
And apparently, this came out even before this, Mark Anthony had announced, he was like, and now, like, the groom is going to dance with the most beautiful woman in the world. Yes,
that's right.
And then it was, like, his mom, which, like,
insane.
Even if she were, which, whatever, it's like, well, you're not the bride. So, like, it has to be the bride that
and like
day.
Supposedly, and I believe this, but it was like she apparently cried from it, like Nicola cried, and it's like, that's crazy. And so I'm literally like, what a freak. And my favorite is, I just retweeted this because again I'm rewatching it right now, but somebody was like I love seeing the things where it's like Victoria at Brooklyn's wedding, and it was like Megan doing the Zooby Zooby Zoo dance.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, I just like love those memes.
That's funny.
And so, and he was also saying that how like David doesn't spend time with him unless it's for like a big event. So they apparently traveled all the way to like for his birthday party and basically waited in a hotel room for him. And he said like Brooklyn could only come if Nicola didn't come. And so he was just like, his wife is constantly disrespected by his family. His mom has invited women from his past like into their lives in a way that clearly like is intended to make them both uncomfortable. And then so like you were saying earlier, they did renew their vows because they were just like, we want a different wedding day. Like we want a new memory of our wedding day that's like, you know, happy memories instead of anxiety and embarrassment. And so And you just said that, like, the narrative that Nicola controls me is completely backwards. Like, I've been controlled by my parents my entire life. So, like you were saying, I mean, literally since he was born, he's been in the public eye.
Right.
With just no say and, you know. And it's
Right.
like, yeah, he is going to release a photography book that's with shitty photos and worse captions. Because it's like, what... Like, he's just been forced to, like, be somebody, you know, important, like his parents. And he can't just be his own individual. I don't know. And so, but he said, like, he was like, I've been, you know, I've grown up with overwhelming anxiety, and since stepping away from his family, like, his anxiety has disappeared. And this was interesting. He said, my family values public promotion and endorsement above all else. Brand Beckham comes first.
Yeah.
And he's just
which I believe.
Yeah. He ended up by saying, we want a life shaped by press, image, and manipulation. We don't want that life. We just want peace.
Yeah.
And I do find it admirable that it's like, you know, a lot of the time I think in these situations, like, the son would, if you see those kind of things, it's like maybe the son wouldn't see something wrong with his mom dancing. You know, you grow up with your mom and you kind of see your mom a certain way. And I think a lot of sons wouldn't. You see all these, like, horror stories of, like, mothers with, like, terrible mother-in-laws, and it's because, like, their son doesn't stand up for them or whatever. Right. And I really think it's admirable that he is, like, and I from my perspective, that he has, like, taken his wife's side.
Yeah. I think, though, what's funny is the phrasing where I think he said, he was like, my mom danced on me.
I believe it.
I'm just picturing her, like, throwing it back.
That's
just like,
it sounds
imagine
like
being at that wedding and you're just like, oh, okay.
And also, I mean, just like, and I feel bad because I'm sure, because it's Victoria, everyone in the crowd's probably like, woo! And cheering. And it's like, you're just, imagine just being Nicola and just like,
Yeah. So, okay. And someone correct me if I'm getting any of this information wrong, because, like, this is just what I've been piecing together, like, over months. But what's also interesting about that is, so this, like, whole dance thing, like, had come out prior.
Yeah.
Like, people knew about it. And Victoria did an interview, I want to say it was, like, British Vogue or something like that, where she talked about it. And she said that she was like, yeah, like, I think she said, like, they invited me or asked me to come up or whatever. Like, she wasn't just, like, waiting there.
Right.
But I was, like, reading this article where they were like, well, it's kind of weird. Like, you knew it's weird enough that you're getting ahead of it to do do a press release basically about why you twerked on your son at his wedding. You know?
She probably didn't see anything. Sounds like she's a fucking freak, and she got up there and did that, and now, because they're Brand Beckham, they're having to, like, save face and fix their public image. Someone's probably like, yeah, that was weird. You need to, like, get ahead of this and say what happened.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I'm curious what they don't like about Nicola. Like, I'm curious.
I think she is widely known as a bad person. I will say that. She has a horrible reputation, not just, like, in Hollywood, but with the people who work with her, with, like, people, I don't think...
What has she done?
I'm trying to think of I think it's just, like, the way she treats people and, like, the things she says. And, again, she's like, kind of an out of touch heiress, you know? And so I think there's that. And I think part of the problem is I really feel for Brooklyn, because I think probably part of what he's saying is true, and probably part of what the Beckhams are saying is true. And I think he's really being pulled between two wealthy, narcissistic brands, because also you have to understand they're probably trying to protect their brand too, because Nicola comes from a huge wealth, so they're coming from he's coming from a family where it's like, our family name comes first, where, like, it reminds you of the royals, kind of, where it's like, once you marry into, like, a Beckham family, it's like, well, now we're the Beckhams, because it's like,
you represent the Beckhams.
However, he's marrying into the Peltzes, who, like, they are money. Like, I forget how they made their money. I want to say it was in tech or something like that. And I think there's also a concern for the brand, because Nicola Peltz's dad is a huge Trump supporter. He's very right-wing. Apparently he said some controversial things and, like, whatever. And I think, like, yeah, if you are thinking about Brand Beckham, it is kind of like, that's not great for our brand. But also there's an aspect of, I think maybe she is controlling him a little bit. I think his parents were probably controlling him a little bit, and it's almost like a fight for control, and they're both, like, seeing that. And so I think typically when you grow up in a household, I think, where you have maybe narcissistic or emotionally immature parents, you are going to repeat that behavior. So maybe before he was, like, really, like, you know, linked on to his parents, but now he's found his wife, so he's linked on to her.
Yeah.
Even though maybe she's repeating the same behavior.
Yeah.
Which I don't know her really. I just have, like, people don't like her.
Yeah.
Like, they don't think, like, people think that she's kind of a nasty person.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. But also, the thing about the dress is interesting because, like, they basically said that, like, she was planning on wearing the Victoria Beckham dress and Victoria pulled out the last minute. However, she wore a Valentino dress that there's records of her going and having the designs made and going for the fittings months and months beforehand.
Yeah,
it sounds like she likely had multiple dresses made and eventually decided maybe she didn't want to wear the Victoria Beckham one.
Yeah.
Because Victoria Beckham said, I think it was like, she was like, I wasn't even, like, planning on making it.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me to. And then she decided not to wear it, which is whatever. Again, I think it's just a who said what type of thing.
Yeah.
And I just think it's interesting because the thing, like, someone brought up where it's like the people being like, oh, like, she's not your blood, like, she's not your family. I think maybe that is coming from concerned family who see the controlling nature and the fact that it's like he's going from being absorbed in this one big brand family to another big brand family. And it's more difficult, I think, when you are being absorbed into a family that you weren't born into.
Yeah.
To feel the same level of protection versus, like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do think it's got to be both, though, because
I think it for sure is.
I mean,
I think he's repeating his own patterns.
Yeah, totally. Because that is what
sense.
ends up happening with a lot of people is you date you marry who your parents are.
Yeah.
And so you tend to go for, you repeat the same patterns, especially if you saw, like, how your, dad treated your mom, like, whatever. But so I can see it being, like, both sides. Is there something wrong on both sides? Mm-hmm. I do think I can so see where it's like, like, if that's true where he said, like, my dad said, oh, Nicola can't come. It's like, well, that is his wife now. So you do kind of have to, unless she has, like, assaulted him or something or physically harmed him or just harmed him in some ways. If you feel like he's really harmful, maybe they do think she's harmful, but I just am like, you can't, like, she is his wife now, so you have to respect that. And also, I mean, still respect the wedding. Like, maybe you're not happy about it, but you still can't ruin someone's wedding day. Yeah,
and I think, like, exactly what you're saying, like, you can not like your child's spouse all you want, but ultimately, like, they're an adult.
Yeah, and they have to start their own family. So
exactly.
They can't always be under the Beckham name. Like, yeah.
But I do think them trying to get him to sign over, like, his name, I could see that. One, they're very controlling, but two, again, because of, like, who the Peltzes are, they're almost like a Succession-like family. Yeah. Like, there's some darkness, I think, to the family. I could see them maybe being like, okay, we need to protect this brand from that family a little bit. But I do think he's, like, just trading one gilded cage for another.
Yeah.
And not really realizing it, maybe. Mm-hmm. And also I think it's interesting, people were suspecting, they were like, did he actually write this caption? And it's interesting because his crisis PR person, I think they fired him or let him go like 2 days before he posted this. It was the same, I forget his name, but he was the same one who, like, worked for Johnny Depp during, like, the trial and stuff like that. And so I, like, this one, I'll give credit, the podcast I was listening to, Straight Up, my British podcast, they were like, maybe it was something where the PR person was like, hey, I wouldn't post that. Like, that's not really a good look. They fired him, and then he's like, I'm going to post it anyways. Which I could see.
Yeah.
Because it is a little bit of a PR nightmare-ish type of thing.
Kind of. I was really shocked that he did that. Honestly. I think I would love to hear their side of it.
I'm just wondering, do you think they're going to say something?
If they did, it'd be in a way more confined way. I'm not sure how to, like, it'd be like in Vogue or something.
Yeah.
Like,
or they're like, they're big into being like, we love our family and we want our son to know that we always have open arms for him. Yeah, that type of thing.
That would be their best move for sure. But I want to hear about the drama. Like, I want to know what she did specifically. I want to hear their side of the wedding because
they're not going to do that. If anything, their other children might, because their other
sons seem messy. So I'm waiting for them to be like, no, fuck that. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Well, even with, like, the person he dated who also dated his brother, I think his brother, like, came out and was like, we never dated or something like that. Like, he publicly addressed it. Mm-hmm. But, like, Victoria and David are very much like the royals in that way, where it's like deflect, deflect, deflect. We're not going to acknowledge it. We're just going to smile and we're going to do our thing and, keep moving on.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's what they should do, but it's not what I want.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Maybe, I think it'll be interesting seeing, like, The Crown version of, like, the Beckhams in, like, 30 years or something.
I know.
It'll be interesting.
I'm sure they will.
What would you say? Who's America's Beckhams? The Kardashians?
The Kardashians. Well, I've always said, honestly, I think the Kardashians are, whether we like it or not, and I'm not comparing them in like a intellectual way. I don't know, but I think the Kardashians are our version of the royal family in terms of drama, in terms of intrigue.
Yeah,
wealth and just family name, power. I mean, they're so powerful, I think. Yeah. So I would say, I think the Kardashians.
Yeah.
I just didn't know the Beckhams were, I never, I obviously know, like, their status, but I never thought of them in that way. You know what I mean?
You never do until you listen to a lot of British people
right.
talk
like,
about
I'm
them.
not British, so I wouldn't care.
Yeah, but me, you know me. I got my British podcast. I'm, like, on BritBox. Don't
you think Victoria has always read, like, she's always seemed really cold to me. So I've always thought, even without knowing a lot about Nicola and just, like, how she is, it would be hard to be her daughter-in-law, I think.
So what's interesting is if you watch her documentary, she talks about why she is perceived as, like, cold in the press. But she actually, I think, is, to, like, people around her, kind of, like, normal and friendly and funny. But in the press, she's perceived as cold because she had to, like, almost put up this front to protect herself. Because I always think there's this interesting thing. There's so much drama, but obviously, like, when she first had children, I think I mentioned this on the podcast before, but, like, they would publish these headlines that was basically, like, too posh to push because she was getting a cesarean, and basically saying, like,
That's horrible!
Yes, because she's so posh, she's not gonna, like, whereas, and I was listening to this one, like, girl talk about it where she was like, I've had a C-section. A C-section is not easy.
Yeah.
No one, like, people aren't actively using.
Well, it just shouldn't even be a head. Like it doesn't matter whatever. That's so stupid. Yeah. But I do think, I mean, okay, maybe she's nice and warm and fuzzy to her family and friends, but I do think, like, what if there is a truth to Brooklyn's posts, it is that, like, they do probably care. I'm not saying they don't care about their children, but it does seem like I buy that they care more about their brand than being cuddly and warm with their kids. Like, I could see that.
And a lot of the emphasis is on Victoria, but I do think, I love that line from My Big Fat Greek Wedding where they're like,
the neck.
Yes, the man is the head of the table, but the woman is the neck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that's very true, where it's like, I know David, obviously, he's a huge soccer player, like one of the greatest of all time, and made a name for himself that way. But I think, like, ever since him and Victoria got together, I think, like, she's really built brand Beckham, BB, and I think, like, a lot of it comes from her direction, especially now. Like, they talk about this in both their documentaries, where it used to be all about his career, and now it's more so, like, about her career.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, I think it's interesting. And I always, this sounds bad, but sometimes I feel bad for these rich kids, where it's like, anytime you see, like, rich kids in the media, or, like, you think of Succession, or, like, shows like that, I'm like, very rarely is it like, look at this happy, wealthy family.
Right.
It's like, no, they all seem pretty miserable, but also, like, I don't know if I'd want to be poor and happy. I feel like someone once said, it's like, it's better to be rich and sad than poor and happy. But who knows? I'm neither of those things, I think.
I think money does buy happiness. I really do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. That's why I love Robbie, the comedian, Robbie Hoffman. She, like, had a joke. She was like, listen, I grew up poor. She's, like, one of 12 kids. She had a single mom. And she was like, I'm here to tell you, it's better with money.
Yeah.
She was like, I'd rather, you know what? Like, life still sucks, but at least it's better knowing there's a few $1,000s in the savings account.
Yeah. I know you can be, like, rich in life with rich in friends. And it's like, okay, but you can't go, I mean, you can't spend money and go out with your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting. But yeah, so, like, this week, the drama has just really been flowing. Like, going from one family drama to another.
Where you think, and it's one of those dramas where, and what we're about to talk about is the same, where it's like you think it's over.
Yeah.
But then there's more information that comes out.
This thing, like, so we're going to talk about the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, like, the stuff that has been released. But it's like, we talked about this when it first happened, and then we haven't covered it in a while because I think we were both just like, we're tired of it.
Well, I didn't even know if we did cover it. I couldn't remember.
I think we did when it first happened. Or, like, when we did the It Ends With Us review.
I think it's such a juggernaut that it's like I couldn't even,
and there's something new every time,
right? Because I thought about, I'm like, we could do a segment every week.
Yeah,
I mean, who wants to hear that and who wants to do it? But I just was like, we could.
And I'll be honest with you and our listeners, sometimes the legality of it all confuses me.
Yeah,
and that's why I wasn't really good when I was a crime journalist.
Yeah, same.
I was really getting some stuff turned around there.
I told you one time I tried to ask somebody like what prison was the person going to. And she was like, well, it's not like that. And I was like, well, what do you mean? You don't know what prison they're going to?
One time my cousin works at a prison and there was like a silence where no one was talking, and my sister was like, she asked him, she goes, so how's working at the prison?
Oh, yeah.
And there's just a long pause and he goes, it fucking sucks. It was just like 15
but just imagine
people.
24-year-old me on the phone just being like, so what prison is he going to?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, it's not like that yet. And I was like,
yeah.
Where is he going?
Constantly.
He's been sentenced. Where's he going?
I'm like, I don't know what the appellate court is. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just a girl. But we're gonna, so to say that, we're gonna get into some text messages and some documents.
Yeah.
And luckily, I don't think there's a lot of legality in it, but there's some interesting things. So if you don't know, Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively have been in a vigorous legal battle over the past, has it been a year or over a year?
Oh my God. Well, when did the movie come out?
I think it was last year. So over a year before the movie came out. So over a year. Basically, like a he said, she said. I'm not going to get into the like whole history of it.
Yeah, just look it up.
Yeah. If you don't know, where have you been? Yeah. But a huge revelation has happened recently because more than 180 documents were unsealed on January 20th, which I also thought that was interesting. I was like, why did they unseal these documents? But apparently a judge can unseal them if they think that it's going to be relevant to the case and that like the public and the jury should know. Yeah. And so what was in these documents is, first of all, the biggest thing is the text messages between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, as well as a voice note from Justin Baldoni, emails between Blake Lively and Matt Damon, Ryan Reynolds and Matt Damon, Blake Lively and Ben Affleck, thank you. And then also messages between Jenny Slate and Blake Lively, and just some interesting stuff. So I will say the Taylor Swift of it all has like really encompassed the headlines, which made it kind of difficult to like research some of the other stuff, but it is the most interesting part. And so
I thought it was fake when I first read them. It was almost so, I was like, this is how they text?
Well, also like sometimes I'm like, okay, Blake Lively is a little bit older, so sometimes, but her messages, there's some that are so cringe, but also it's just strange to me, like, thinking about people that famous texting.
That's what I mean. That's why I was like, there's no way these are real.
Yeah. And also I will say, it does feel like a huge invasion of privacy that we're just, like, reading all of these texts.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure Taylor's not happy about it.
Oh, no. And you'll get into it. I have like the text message that we'll talk about it. But also one thing I was thinking about is when we talk about like, we're going to get into like the text messages between Blake and Taylor. And some of it is like, it's really bad for like a lawsuit, you know? But in this like scope of a friendship, it makes sense. It's like if you texted me this thing, I'm like, honestly, yeah, that's something I would say back.
Right.
And I think it's interesting because people forget that like text messages can be subpoenaed and whatever.
Out of context, sometimes things sound really bad. Like they just do.
And people like are like, oh, like, well, you wouldn't send in an email, but it's like your text messages can show up in court too.
Yeah.
So the problem with this, and I'm going to get into it, is all of these text messages have basically caught Blake in a lie. And honestly, like a little bit of Taylor Swift as well. Because, so basically, Justin Baldoni had petitioned to subpoena Taylor Swift like earlier this year. And both Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's legal team were fighting him on it, and he was saying that they wanted to see private text messages saying that Taylor Swift was supporting Blake Lively, and Lively had said it was categorically false. And so Taylor Swift's team went so far as to, her legal team released a statement basically saying Taylor Swift never set foot on the set of this movie. She was not involved in any of the casting or creative decisions. She did not score the film. She never saw an edit or made any notes on the film. She did not even see It Ends With Us until weeks after its public release, and was traveling around the globe headlining the biggest tour in history. The connection Taylor had to this film was permitting the use of the song My Tears Ricochet, given that her involvement was licensing a song, whatever, and basically just saying, like, she didn't know anything about it. Blake Lively's team had said that Baldoni is turning a case of sexual harassment and retaliation into entertainment for the tabloids, and that they're trying to subpoena Taylor Swift, a woman who has given a voice to millions all over the world, even though this is a very serious legal matter. What I think it was is they knew those texts were going to look bad.
Yeah.
Because basically, and again, if this weren't a legal matter, like, it'd just be like, whatever, it's just two friends, like, coming to each other's aid, right? Mm-hmm. But it is a legal matter, so now it's kind of going to subvert, like, or undermine everything they've said in court, basically. So the most interesting text message, so in it, like, Blake refers to Baldoni as a doofus director and a clown, and she talks about this time where basically she had said in court that there was a time where it was like Baldoni was at Taylor Swift's apartment, or not Taylor Swift, Blake Lively's apartment, and Taylor Swift came towards the end of the meeting, and it happened to be an accident, is what they said. They were like, oh, we were just, like, getting together or whatever.
And Justin was like, it felt like an attack, like they were...
Right. What actually happened, so there were text messages before where Blake texts Taylor. She says, if you get here with this doofus director of my movie is still here, I'll be ushering him out, but hope he's still here. Can you do me a huge favor? I need help with him. Hang on, I have to zoom in. Can you tell him you're excited for the movie, that you read the book, but what you're freaking out over is the pages I sent you. What a magnetic scene that it is, or whatever descriptives you're comfortable with. I'll send you the scene. You don't have to read it, of course. It's a quick read. He's a clown. This is still Blake. Mm-hmm. He's a clown and thinks he's a writer now, and got this rewrite and told me he appreciates my passion. That's it. So having the greatest living storyteller unknowingly echo to him how much you love what we're doing, parentheses, giving him credit as if he wrote them with me, close parentheses, will go such a long way. Then Blake Lively said, you dug a movie out of the grave once already for me. I don't know what she's referring to. And then she sends Taylor the pages. And then Taylor says, I'll do anything for you, 2 exclamation points. Blake says, I love you. Thank you. Text me when you're on your way. I'll have Molly meet you and security in garage. Taylor says, headed your way. I'm on your street. So then, after that meeting, Blake sends a text message to Taylor. Basically, hang on, I have to find it. She said, this is her, like, thanking Taylor. She was like, you were so epically heroic today. I recapped every moment to Ryan Reynolds. I kept remembering stuff, you making shit up about me and lenses and referring to yourself as my doll, this clown falling for all of it, but also resisting it. So here's what also has happened within this context. So there has been this whole push and pull on this movie of Blake Lively wanting certain edits, certain rewrites for this film. And also, like, again, she has said that there's, like, things of sexual harassment, whatever. But also, I'll be honest, it's confusing because a lot of this stuff sounds like she's throwing a fit because her edits are not getting chosen. Because he's the director, he's the producer, he's also the main actor. It's his production company. Yeah. She's the actress in it, you know? And so I think she is expecting to have more control than she ultimately got, because again, she's not in those roles. It's not her movie. She's not directing it. And you can see in the messages between Justin and other people in his company where he's getting frustrated because he's like, she wants these edits. One of the edits, she wanted to take out like any mention of like sexual assault, which is like what the movie is about, and all this other stuff. So then again, the problem comes in with them saying like Taylor Swift had no involvement, no creative involvement, whatever, when it's like clearly the text messages show that she did. Yeah. Then there's other damning stuff. Like there's a New York Times article that came out that basically like exposed, this was like a while ago, exposed Justin Baldoni and was saying basically it was very pro Blake Lively, and it was around the time that he was like taking her to court, right? And she sent a text message, Taylor Swift did, saying, I think this bitch knows something is coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin. What's crazy about this story is that she sent that message, it was like a few weeks before the article came out, and I think they only gave Justin Baldoni something like 2 days to respond to the article. Meanwhile, it was like Blake and her team and Taylor Swift knew about this information far ahead of time, which is interesting. And so then originally the judge like denied Lively's motion for the protective order for her text with Swift, which was like kind of this has been a win for Baldoni, I think. Like I think that's really interesting. And so there's just, but what's I think confusing about it is that it's like, I think, again, as we've said when we covered this before, I think everyone's wrong on all sides. Yeah. Because there's also Jenny Slate showed text messages between, like, her and Blake and other people where she, like, said, she was like, even her agent, she said to him, she was like, I hate filming this film. Like, Justin is a weirdo, blah, blah, blah. The the actress who plays, like, a younger Blake Lively said there were 3 instances where she, like, felt like uncomfortable around Justin. So like the women on the film,
he was filming her and he said something like, oh my gosh, what was it? It was like, I know I shouldn't be saying this, but
that's hot.
And she's an underage actress. Yeah.
Which is like, not great. So I think like things can be true on both sides. Totally. Like I think he probably maybe was a kind of a creepier guy or whatever. But so there's also so there's this whole text message exchange between like Justin and Blake, where she basically, because he was saying, he was like, she always is using this mega star as like threat. Yeah. So like she would go to Sony and basically be like, Taylor Swift's not gonna like is gonna pull out.
Embarrassing. Yes. Why can't you just be confident in yourself? Why do you have to use your friend?
Right.
And we'll kind of get to that too.
So this is the cringiest text, I think. And so she texts him and she says, if you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi.
Oh, yeah. And that came out a long time ago.
Yeah. And like her, I happen to have a few dragons, for better or worse, but usually for better, because my dragons also protect those I fight for. So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise you.
What is she talking about?
That
was pretty bad. But did you see the text between Taylor and Blake where she was like basically like, hey, are we okay?
Yes. So I'm not going to read out, well, should I read out that whole text?
You don't have to.
Okay. So that was interesting. So that comes like...
But for context, so Blake texted Taylor being like, hey, are we okay? I've noticed something's off between us. These are the ones I thought were fake because they just were... They were so weird. And like, Taylor was like... Again, I couldn't picture Taylor Swift texting this. Like, it just was weird. But Taylor was basically like... Honestly, like, I've been really busy, obviously.
Yeah.
But she's like, I've been really busy. And she was like, but yeah, I mean, I have noticed, like, a difference in, like, the way you talk to me. You talk to me more as, like, a...
She basically was saying, like, I can tell you're copy and pasting this message from 8 to 18 different people or something.
Yeah, and then...
To paraphrase.
Blake, this was the only time I was like, that's a little funny, was Blake was like, you're, like, what did she say? It was something like, I've received your message or whatever. Like, it was, like, this, like, whatever, she was joking. And she was like... No, seriously, like, thank you so much for telling me this. Like, it was just, like, a back and forth of them, like, apologizing to each other. And it's just funny because, like, you see things in the media where it's like, I'm sure things are very off between them now. I'm sure they're not.
Yeah.
I'm sure Taylor is not happy about being dragged into all this.
Yeah.
But you see things in the media of, like, people fighting, you know, whatever. And it's kind of like the Brooklyn Beckham thing where it's like, it's so interesting to then see that it's a real.
Yeah.
That it's actually, like, true.
Yeah.
That's, like, so. And even with the story, like, with the Taylor coming in, you know, when Justin's there, and it's like, I think we all were like, yeah, that clearly was her calling her in and asking her to be there as, like, a threatening figure, and it's just so wild to see, like, actual evidence of that.
Yeah. I don't know why, but it was crazy for me to see Taylor Swift text, "I'm on your street."
Yeah, I was
like,
just thinking
of
that when
her
you were
being
reading
like,
that, I'm like, I mean, I know she was not driving, I'm sure.
But just to be like,
still, yeah, I'm on my way.
Yeah, she's like, I'm in
5
your zip
minutes out.
code. Yeah. But, and I will say, so okay, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, they're just, like, mean girls plotting, whatever. I don't disagree with that, but I also think, here's the thing. If you have female friendships, for example, if you texted me and you were like, hey, I need you to pretend that I did blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
The problem happens when you're a billionaire and things are in the public. You know what I mean?
And the problem happens, too, I've never, like, bought their friendship, I guess. I've always, like, seen anything with... I've always thought that it felt like very, like, publicity stuff, kind of. I'm not saying they're not real friends. Clearly they are. But I just mean, like, it does feel like Blake was just using her. Clearly she was. She was like, here's my powerful and rich, famous friend.
Yes.
Like,
and
what?
that's, like, so
That's not the same
I
as
thought
if
the
you're
same
asking
thing too,
me to do something for you.
But it always felt weird because it felt like Blake Lively was always talking about Taylor Swift. It felt like not a genuine friendship in that I think maybe Blake was friends with her as like a I'm friends with Taylor Swift type of thing.
And you know what's so interesting to me about all this is, like, throughout all this I've felt this way. Blake Lively to me is an A-list famous star. Yeah, I don't think she's a very good actor, so there's that.
Yeah, she's not on the level of power of Taylor Swift, though.
No, she's not, but I would say Ryan Reynolds is huge. So it's strange. Yeah, who is? But, like, in terms of acting, I would say Ryan Reynolds is, like, probably one of the most powerful, and I mean this because of, like, as a businessman, I mean, he's, like, one of the most powerful, like, actors in Hollywood, probably. And so it's weird to me that's why I say it's like, where's her level of confidence that I would think this, like, queen of the Met Gala.
Yeah.
Like, she's known for being this, like, fashion, like, beautiful icon. So it's weird to me that she's so... all of this just makes her seem so, like, low self-esteem.
I think she does have extremely low self-esteem because if you look back at, because she is a taller person, you know, but I think that makes her very paranoid as a woman about, like, her weight. So, like, if you look back at, like, that interview that came out where it's like, oh, what about your bump? And she was rude about it. And this whole thing, like, a huge thing, she got upset because Justin Baldoni asked how much she was going to weigh in 2 weeks. And she was like, why does that matter to you? And he was like, well, I have to lift you.
He didn't ask her, though. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that was weird.
So it's interesting your perspective of this because, like, I feel like I'm wondering if I'm getting, like, bots. Because ever since the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing, I'm like, now I'm suspicious of, you know, how, like, they can just make, like, Twitter, like, accounts that are just, like, talking about. All I've seen is how, like, Taylor and Blake's texts are so cute and, like, oh, like, it's almost like it's towards, like, Blake's side. And it's making Justin look like the bad guy in the situation. So it's interesting that...
Really?
Yeah, that's why I'm like... And so the thing that I saw was that actually Justin asked her trainer or something.
He did. He called her trainer and was like, how...
That seems inappropriate.
That does seem inappropriate. And that's why I'm like, again, I don't think Blake is incorrect, but I don't think
they're both in the wrong.
Yes, and I think part of it is like all these messages came out from the people at Sony as well, basically complaining about Blake Lively, all these edits that she wanted to make, how she was basically threatening to pull Taylor Swift's endorsement of the film or whatever if, like, they didn't go with her certain edits. It's interesting because they did do a test screening, 2 of them, for her version of the film.
Yeah.
People didn't like it.
Yeah.
They wanted Justin's version.
Yeah.
But she says in these messages, she's like, he's been working on it since July, which I guess, like, that means, like, months and months. Yeah. She's like, I had 10 days to put an edit together. And it's like, okay, well, you wanted to put an edit together.
Yeah, it's not really, you're not supposed to do that.
Like, why are you doing
and
that?
Justin supposedly writing a scene, Ryan supposedly writing a scene.
And
why are you writing a scene?
And she keeps like saying, she's like, me and Ryan, like, we are known we are known writers. Justin's out here acting like a writer. I'm like, he is the director of the film.
Yeah.
She was like, on other movies I've been on, like, I'm just tired of directors like acting like, like my edits don't matter or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and we've said this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy for her to say that.
Yes. I think part of the problem, she wanted more control over the film and didn't get it. And so then that really heightened her, like, anger towards Justin. But then also on the reverse side, I think Justin's a little bit of an oddball and a weirdo.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, if he's an inherently evil person.
No, but he reads to me as, like, fake feminist, like, everything, like, whatever. I don't know. But what I really realized this the other day, I think another layer to that is that, because I was listening to the What Went Wrong episode of Deadpool, and I hate Deadpool. I actually don't know why I was listening to it, but I just thought it was interesting. I didn't realize, and so Ryan Reynolds was a huge part in that movie being made. Yeah. And there's a whole thing to it. But basically, I mean, they were saying more than an actor. He's like an actor he's a businessman disguised as an actor. Like, more than anything, he's like an entrepreneur. And so I think it's almost like he's probably in her ear telling her, like, here's how you're supposed to run a movie. Because he made so many decisions on Deadpool, and in a good way. Like, he made that movie what it was. Like, he was very successful in that. Was it his place? I don't know. But, like, I think it's almost like she's trying to be that too. Yeah. And it's like, you're the actor. Like, you're not. Yeah. You can't do that. But I think that's, like, sort of some of it too, is, like, look at who her husband is, who is, like, always involved in his movies, always, like, looking at things from, like, a business standpoint. And it's like, I think she is trying to do that too, but she's just not, like, she can't.
But I want to go back to the Taylor Swift text. I also want to say it's interesting because, I don't, like, condemn them. I think, again, it's like two obviously close
I feel
friends.
Like we shouldn't be reading their text.
Yeah, we shouldn't be reading their text. But also, like, it's I think a normal conversation between friends. You tell me some drama at work and I'm going to be like, bitch, fuck that guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like, screw him. Like, because you're my friend. Also, like, this movie doesn't really involve her at all.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious when she called him a bitch.
But the problem is that now we're in, like, it's a legal arena. Right. So now, again, this is basically, I think, is going to undermine most of what, like, once you've lied in court once about a topic or whatever, it's kind of hard for a judge or whatever to, think that your argument holds water otherwise. That is my opinion as someone who, I preface this with, is not good at legality. But from what I've seen on Law and Order,
it's not supposed to lie in court. So
right. So I think, like, that's going to be a problem. And I think it's interesting because Blake definitely was using her other influence, like, heavily in this film as well. So she also reached out to Ben Affleck.
This is the worst to me. Like, can you imagine this nightmare of an email? This is like a nightmare getting an email from, like, a former coworker like this.
So she reached out to Ben Affleck, and she also reached out. So, well, I'll get to it. So this is basically what the email said. She emailed him and said, I'm writing with a zero pressure ask. I've come out of the other side, well, almost, of the most upsetting experience I've ever had on a movie. The making of doc of this film would be more interesting than the movie could ever be. It's like if Wild Wild Country, Fire Festival, and Going Clear had a baby with The Room. Room also works, though. Anyway, I
can't stand her with the
This is
comedy.
A long email, too.
And it's also just, like, the jokes every second. Just shut up and just be, like, serious.
Anyway, I ended up rewriting and restructuring the entire script. Which is crazy because, again, not your place to do that. The entire script. I also ended up having to direct the movie via the chaotic clown, in quotes, director / actor / producer / financier / studio head at the center.
Okay, she should also just not be talking about colleagues in the business like that to other like, that's crazy.
Right, exactly. And it's like, okay, this makes it very clear that you are overstepping. Yeah. If you literally just said that you had to direct the movie by, like, manipulating the director.
She was a producer on the movie, right?
I think so. I can't remember. But so then she said, yes, that's all the same person. So she like part of this, she keeps like saying that it's stupid that he's all these roles. Like, I don't know, honey, he wanted to make this movie, so he made it work.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, that was really condescending. I shouldn't have said honey, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he was just trying to make it work. She said, so then she said, oh, and did I mention he and everyone he had on the movie is in a cult? To clarify, and this is me speaking, Justin Baldoni and a lot of the people at his studio are part of, I forget the name of the religion, but it's a very specific religion. And so I think like maybe that comes into play, but she's kind of like, I think making it seem like Scientology or something. But the thing is, it's like, I don't know if you can necessarily make fun of a person's religion.
Yeah,
it's not like yeah.
She just shouldn't even be talking about him like this in an email to
Ben Affleck. Yeah.
Who is probably like, I'm busy. I am dealing with J-Lo right now.
Yeah, I will say both him and Matt Damon's responses, I think, were very nice.
Actually didn't see their responses.
Basically, like, I think it was Matt Damon. He was like, because she had asked, like, him and his wife to watch it, and he basically came back and was like, yes, and, like, if you ever, like, he was like, the next movie you want to direct, come do it at Artists Equity, which is, like, the production company that him and Ben started in 2022. And he was like, that's crazy, and I hope like this experience hasn't like deterred you or whatever. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then this email continues to Ben Affleck. She said, if I would have just formally directed it, it would have been much easier, but having to troubleshoot through his taste, ego, and pre-existing decisions made it so difficult, and that's not even touching on any of the wild HR issues and beyond. Anyway, now I'm in a bake-off with him in the edit. He's been editing since, I kid you not, July, and they gave me 10 days to do my own pass. We have a bake-off in 12 days. Stop saying bake-off.
What are you talking
Don't
about?
bring the British into this. But I have a friend's and family preview in New York on Saturday in the meantime, so I can get one round of notes or feedback before we duke it out. And so she sent kind of like a similar email. So Ryan emailed Matt Damon, I think, and then she also did a follow-up email to Matt Damon and like his wife, and they kind of like were saying the similar thing, so I'm not gonna like read it out. But it's just like such a long way to say it, and also it's like the way you're describing it's like if I had just formally directed it instead of having to manipulate and mold him, it's like it's not.
And again, going to your like to these powerful people just to be like, please. And this is where I'm getting like her emails, her texts. It's like, does she not seem like the least confident person you've ever seen? It's like embarrassing to read,
which is so strange.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And also with like the thing where it's just like if I had like done all of this myself, I have to remind people that this was like Justin Baldoni's passion project, quote unquote. It's like he went to Colleen Hoover basically and was like, I want to make your movie. Here are the rights to it, blah, blah, blah. And then like Blake gets brought onto the project later on. Mm-hmm. So for her to like, I can't imagine from his perspective how frustrating it must have been to be like, have this person constantly like trying to change.
And her husband getting involved. And now Taylor Swift's here.
Yes,
like,
exactly. What? Like, that's so crazy. And I think, like, also, again, so there's, like, the stuff from each side. But then there's also, like, the Sony people being, like, she's being extremely, like, crazy with her edits, like this, she's acting like this is her movie, which sometimes, you know, it's not like production or like whatever companies are always great towards women, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. But some of the stuff I'm like, it sounds pretty accurate. And then also them kind of condemning her releasing her hair care line in conjunction with
they mentioned it. They're like, she's just trying to sell her hair stuff. And it's true. The thing is, all of this is true. I think Justin is also maybe a bit of a creep and has said weird stuff, and yes, that's true. I'm not downgrading. I can believe that. But I also am just like, what was this for Blake? What was the meaning for this? It sounds like it was just her trying. I mean, when you're a producer, you do have certain levels of power and decision making, but I think, like I said, I really genuinely think it was her trying to probably follow what Ryan does, and it doesn't land.
And also we have to like go back to the beginning of this court case and remember that it started out by, I believe, like Blake accusing Justin Baldoni of like sexual harassment or whatever, and then Justin Baldoni was basically, shout out Emily Irby, you're calling me right now, but I can't answer because we're recording. So Justin Baldoni was basically saying like, hey, you're manipulating the press to make it look like I did all these things that I didn't do. And then she came back and said, you're manipulating the press to make it look like I'm bad. And that's how they ended up.
It did look like that. So.
And that's how we ended up in court. But now, I mean, we've got some pretty solid evidence of her doing a lot of manipulation to make him look bad. Whereas, like, his messages and stuff that were revealed were basically just him being like, I don't know what to do because she's trying to control everything. He, like, listed out all these edits that she wanted to make that he was like, this doesn't even make any sense, like, whatever. And also, like, I will say, it's interesting, like, the messages between the two of them came out where it's like, she texted in this long thing. I'm not going to read it. It's not that interesting, of her basically being like, I appreciate you looking at the edits. It did, like, basically hurt my feelings that all you said was that you appreciated it or something like that. Like, she was upset basically that he was just like, wow, like, he said something where it's like, I'm glad you have a lot of passion for this or something. Because obviously, probably at this point, he's like, bitch, like, I'm trying to direct this movie. But anyways, and she seems upset that he wasn't like, oh, this is amazing and whatever. And he, like, sent her this voice note that got released. But he was, like, very nice in it.
Yeah, they're nice to each other. Whenever I see, like, things between each other, that's what's confusing, is it's, like, the texts are always, like, hey, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Remember there was that rumor that, like, maybe they had an affair during the making and that I don't know if that's true. Yeah. Again, this was a rumor, is what I'm saying, at one point, because it was like, people were like, okay, I don't know. There was just, like, some weirdness. I can't even fully remember. I don't think it's true, but there was, like, maybe that kind of started the feud a little bit.
And I want to clarify, I am not defending Justin Baldoni by any means. I'm also not defending Blake Lively by any means. I think it's just this was a bad match. A lot of bad blood happened. Yeah. And now we've taken it to court.
And I think it's, like, the way that I feel is, it's like, all of this for a shitty movie. No offense, but I don't think Blake Lively is a very good actor. So it's like, all of this for, like, she's not even that good. Yeah. And it's like, and I mean, stand up for something that you believe in, but I do think it's like, yes, in ways I think she was overstepping.
Yeah.
And
that whole hair line to make it look like her hair hadn't been brushed in weeks.
It looked awful, by the way. Her hair looked horrible.
Every time I see it at Target, I'm like, won't be buying that.
Well, and the whole outfit thing was her decision. Remember, she wanted to wear, and people who read the book were like, that's not what that character looks like. It was
some of the worst outfits I've ever seen. And
remember, she was like, I borrowed it from my friend Gigi. Like,
yes, and it was crazy. And I remember someone saying, like, the costume designer, like, on the movie was so frustrated because she was just like, my job is to design a costume for this character, and you're like, she was overstepping everyone's job. It was like almost like she was trying to be like an auteur director, despite the fact that it wasn't her film. She doesn't like have any involvement in any of those decisions. You are the lead actress.
Well, and she always frames it in this way of like, women need to like stand up and like, and it's like, women are often stepped on, and it's like, well, but okay, but you're not making good choices, so and also it's not your place,
right? And also, I don't even know if it's a thing of like feminism.
But she was always saying that's always her angle, and it's like, she's a crown. Remember, she would always say, she was like, I'm a crown fixer, which I hate when someone says stuff like that, because it's like, that means you're not.
And also sometimes
I think thinking about yourself right now.
Yeah, we've gotten to this point where she's like, I think she knows, she's like, well, if we say that he is like not great towards women, then maybe it's going to look better on her. But really, it's like, I don't think any of this has to do with like feminism. I think it literally has to do with you, a singular female.
Yeah. And I do believe if he was making people uncomfortable on set, that is messed up. That's why I say, we are not, I hope it's not coming off that we're like sitting here just taking Justin Baldoni's side.
Yeah.
I think they're both, like you said, I think it was just a bad match for a bad movie. And it's just become such a huge mess, and these texts and emails aren't helping. They're also just very cringe.
And also, I thought it was strange reading the emails that Blake and Ryan sent and how they mirrored each other. And they both made the joke where they're like, the movie about this movie is going to be better than the movie type of thing, where I'm like,
I've always hated their humor. And again, like, where it's that thing where it's like the constant joking, and it makes her sound like low confidence. It's just very cringy. But they're both like that. I've never liked the two of them as a couple, because it's like, it's always like they're trying really hard to be funny, and I'm like, just calm down.
And I'm curious, where do you think, like, for both Justin and Blake, like, how do you think their careers are going to go after this?
I don't know. I'm curious about his, because other than this movie, he's never
He was in Jane the Virgin.
Okay, yeah, you did say that.
Yeah.
And he also, me as a podcast, I think. So I don't know. I feel like he will suffer more than her. I think she'll bounce back. I really do.
Yeah.
I think everyone always comes out of things.
And you know what? The Sony people said the same thing. They said they said even Hathaway came back, which is crazy to say in correspondence, a professional correspondence. But they were like, give her 5 years and she'll probably be fine.
I think so too. I think, and she's also, it's like she has Ryan Reynolds, who is still very active in Marvel, and like she'll be fine. It's Justin that I think will maybe suffer just because he didn't already have a career.
Yeah. Do you think her and Taylor will be friends again? I don't know.
I don't know. If I were Taylor, I'd be like, you dragged me into all this. Like, I don't know.
For again, kind of shitty movie. But people have been saying that her song, Canceled, is that what it's called? Where she's like, I like my friends canceled. That was a really bad impression. Is about her, and people were confirming it because she, like, says you brought, like, violins to a knife fight or something, which is, like, insinuating, like, or some line like that, which I think is interesting. I just think this is a stupid thing that got blown way out of proportion, and it's just making everyone involved look stupid. Yes. Because I'm sure also if you took my text messages and displayed them to the public, people would be like, is she an idiot?
Yeah.
Which maybe.
Also, it's so embarrassing for people to see, like, their text being like, hey, are we okay? Like, are we, like, it's like, yeah, like the texts are just so awful, and just like the jokes she was making, I couldn't.
And also, like, just like reading it where Taylor was just like, yeah, actually, like, I have felt this way. I can't imagine being on the receiving end as a friend and just being like, no!
Yeah, that's what I meant. Where it's just like everything was being like confirmed. Like,
yeah. But anyways, so. I guess
I'm sure we'll have more updates.
The trial, I think, ends or like the court case, whatever, ends in the spring, so it should be wrapped up relatively soon.
I would have loved to have seen a televised trial.
Oh,
I love a good court.
Let's petition it now.
Well, I don't think that's how that works. We can't petition for a live court trial.
I don't know.
Well, in happy news, in successful actor news.
Our favorite time of year.
Our favorite season. Awards.
Can I get an O?
O.
Can I get an S?
S.
Can I get a Skrs?
Skrs.
Oscars.
And we're already, like, thinking of the treats we're going to make for our little Oscars party.
And we also are trying to think of a way to get you guys involved in our little Oscar pool. Yeah. We just need to figure out the tech side on the back end. So we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
But keep listening.
We also have we'll have our own little
puppies. Yeah. So if you don't know, every year we do like fake Oscar categories.
They're not fake.
Fake, they're poppies.
Yeah.
They're called the poppies. So keep tuning back because this is an exciting season for us, and it'll also be the start of our 3rd year together.
Aww.
That's crazy.
That was our first podcast. R.I.C. Oppenheimer.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways. So the Oscar nominations just came out a couple days ago.
Now, I'll tell you right off the bat.
Okay.
My first surprise is F1 in Best Picture.
That was crazy.
I
always love the joke where it's like, that movie is such a coworker movie, and I'm like, yes, or like a parent movie.
Yeah.
Like, my parents liked F1.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eric, if you're listening, because he always like gets mad when we say we didn't like F1. He's like, it's a good movie. And was it Best Picture worthy? I don't think so.
And someone was saying it's like because the Oscars are voted by people in the industry, and I guess like F1 was a technological achievement. I'm like, okay, I don't care.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I was pretty pleased with the category.
I was really pleased to see Train Dreams get nominated. I really did like that.
I think Joel Edgerton should have been nominated. He was really good in it. But I don't know who I would have removed from performance by a lead actor.
True. But also I was surprised that Frankenstein got nominated for Best Picture.
I wasn't, because I figured it would. It was nominated in all the other awards shows.
I think we've gotten like pretty far on this list. You just watched Sentimental Value.
So I only haven't watched that. I can't speak.
You still need to see.
I still need to see F1. I'm not going to watch it though, so that's why I wanted to rephrase that. And The Secret Agent. I haven't seen that. But other than that, I've actually seen all of them.
Yeah. I'm curious. Well, actually, no, we're not going to go into our predictions because.
Well, I do think it's between two, and I don't know which one. Genuinely, I think it's gonna be. It could be a wild card year.
Yeah.
Some of the nominations even already surprised me. So.
Yeah, and we'll say overall, crazy. Sinners got 16 record-breaking nominations.
And I fear it could be one of those where it gets 16 nominations and wins 0.
That's what I was telling, maybe it was you. I was telling someone where I was like, I do think it's going to be one of those ones that gets a lot of nominations and not as many wins.
Or I could see it also winning.
Yeah, for certain things, for sure.
Yeah.
But performance by an actor in a leading role, honestly, this kind of all struck me pretty straightforward. Timothée Chalamet, you know my boy. I'll be rooting for him. I'll be canvassing around Hollywood, getting some votes in for my boy Tim.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Blue Moon, Ethan Hawke.
I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it soon.
Michael B. Jordan, do you think he should have been nominated twice because he was playing twins?
But I think that's an achievement, is that he played 2 different characters. And I think I do want to talk about Sinners, though, because with its like 16 nominations, it had 3 actor nominations, and they surprised me a little bit. I think so Delroy Lindo was nominated in the best supporting
that was a surprise
category.
Too.
It was I think like so many people he hasn't been nominated like really for much in the awards seasons. I think a lot, or the award shows. I'm losing my like ability to speak right now. I don't know why. But I think a lot of people have been really mad, and they're like, he deserves to be nominated. And I think the Academy tends to like listen to that, and then they end up. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but it is funny that it's like he hasn't been nominated. I don't think at all this award season, and now he's nominated. So I think he was good in it. Mm-hmm. To me, the surprise was Wumi Masaku.
Yeah.
I can't remember her character's name.
I don't remember her character's name either, but
anyway, she's nominated for Best Supporting Actress. That one surprised me a little bit.
It surprised me, but I wasn't unpleased to see it.
No,
I
I'm
was
not unpleased to see. So the way that I feel is like I'm not unpleased to see this. I wouldn't have been surprised if they hadn't been nominated. But they're here.
And also, sometimes these movies that came out a while ago, sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you forget. Well, I'm glad, because Sinners came out at a weird time. It was like April or something. And that's not really award show. So I'm really pleased with how much. I actually think also, I mean, Miles Caton.
Yeah.
He was really good, too. I think, so the one that I think a lot of people are like, what, is Kate Hudson is nominated for Song Sung Blue. And that to me,
I haven't seen it, so.
I haven't either, but I don't need to. And I think a lot of people who have seen it, I'm sorry, I don't care about Neil Diamond. I don't care about, I don't want to see it. But a lot of people have said, they're like, I don't see why she was nominated. It feels like it's like, oh, because it's Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are seeing this as like, she took away Chase Infinity's nomination.
That is, I was actually very upset that Chase Infinity didn't get nominated.
I don't like that.
I will say I'm curious about Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson is interesting because I feel like she is always in these like random, like rom-coms, that whatever. But if you've ever seen the movie,
really good.
Yeah, if you've ever seen the movie Almost Famous,
yeah, she should have won for that.
Yeah, she's very good. But I haven't seen Song Sung Blue. I think Chase Infinity should have been over her for sure.
Absolutely. And
I don't need to see it to know that.
Yeah.
Like that, it actually makes me mad that she wasn't nominated.
Me too. Because like everyone else from the movie was. So it just kind of bothers me. I will say, I think we'll review it at a different time, but I watched Sentimental Value this weekend.
Yeah.
And pretty much everyone from that movie is nominated. I don't know if I necessarily agree with Elle Fanning's nomination after watching it, which I was surprised. I mean, I think she's a really good actor. I don't think she was that strong in the movie.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like maybe they nominated her because it's Elle Fanning. Like, I don't know, but it feels everybody else in the movie really, like, their performances moved me much more than hers.
What is it about? I don't even know.
It's basically about this Stellan Skarsgård plays this man. He's like a filmmaker, and he has a family that he kind of left. Like he has 2 daughters who are adults, and they he like left them when they were young, and so they don't have like a good relationship with him. But one of them is an actress, and so he wants her to star in this movie that he wrote that's kind of based on like this trauma about his mother, and she doesn't want to do it, and so he hires Elle Fanning, who is an actress, but they're all Swedish and she's not, and obviously and so she is going to be in the movie. But it's just like, so it's about like generational trauma basically,
Yeah.
and it was really
Sounds
moving.
like my kind of movie.
I think you'll like it. A lot of it is in subtitles.
Yeah.
But it's really, so you kind of like have to pay attention the whole time, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, because if I looked down or went into the kitchen, like I was like, okay, I gotta rewind. But it was a beautiful movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, lead actress, we talked about this outside the podcast, Amy Madigan getting nominated is kind of interesting.
And supporting, yeah.
Or sorry, supporting role.
I've been saying that since the beginning, because she keeps being nominated for stuff, and then she like won the...
Like, she made that movie, yes, but I don't think it was an award-winning performance.
No, I've been saying this, and I feel like everyone's just like, oh yeah, whenever I say it, I'm like,
yeah.
No one else is thinking, like, I think I even talked about it on the podcast to you. I don't know if you, like, didn't know who I was talking about, but I was like, does no one else think it's weird that she's nominated?
Yeah.
And, like, I think you were just like, oh yeah, anyway. And I was like, wait.
That might have been a couple of podcasts ago, we were recording, and I literally was like, I think I'm gonna throw up, which is why
it's like anytime I talked about it, everyone's just like, oh yeah, anyway. And I'm like, no, it's like weird. Like, she's not.
Yeah.
Like, I think she was good, obviously. Yeah, she made the movie what it was for sure, but I don't think she's Oscar nominated worthy, but I don't know.
Okay, achievement in cinematography. I, again, am glad Train Dreams got nominated. I was thinking about, like, if The Power had gone out this week, and I was like, maybe I'll download it on my iPad for us. But then I was like, Chris has to watch this on a bigger screen. Also, you all need to watch it on a large screen. It's beautiful.
That's not a movie I would ever watch again. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie, but I also don't think I could sit through. It's very slow paced. Yeah. But it is beautiful. Costume
design. Okay, Avatar Fire and Ash kind of makes me mad because it's, like, all CGI. So whatever, but I mean,
yeah.
I Frankenstein and I think like Sinners really stick out to me here.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Frankenstein with that little bird thing, got it going on. And directing. Also, I just have to say, I was telling you guys, I was reading this thing from the New Yorker where this film critic was saying like what he thought should have been nominated. This just reminded me. He said that Dakota Johnson should have been nominated for The Materialists. Yeah. And I literally like kind of stopped reading after that, and then I went to like all the comments and everyone was like, this man should be fired.
Yeah.
He had so many horrible takes. I was like,
insane. You know who I have been seeing a lot of people surprise, and I'm curious how I think you'll hard disagree with this, but
I know what you're gonna say.
Jennifer Lawrence.
I was just
for Dime I Love. I was surprised she wasn't nominated, to be honest.
I was too, but maybe it's a good thing for my blood pressure because like you know I would have been I hated that movie. I would have been raging.
And then a lot of people thought that Paul Mescal was snubbed, and we both saw Hamnet last week, and I don't think he was snubbed. I think we're good.
I think he was fine. We'll get into it when we talk about the review, but yeah. But I'm glad that obviously Jessie Buckley, was she not going to get nominated?
Kind of think that little kid could have been nominated, and I would have been like, sure.
Honestly, do you think, I hope he's at the Oscar.
Remind me to tell you something really interesting, too, when we talk about the movie.
Okay.
Speaking of him.
Yeah, that's it's
about him.
It's a little teaser for next week, you guys, so tune back in. And then, like, all the rest of these categories are pretty, like, important. Yes, but
I wonder if the Smashing Machine, if they expected that to be nominated more. It looked like it was an Oscar bait movie, and I knew. So it's so funny when I watch a preview for something, and I'm like, this is an Oscar bait movie, and I know it's not going to get Oscar nomination.
It's just like House of Gucci. It was like this was the most Oscar baity ever.
I could tell, and no shade to Emily Blunt. I think she is a really good actress, but I could tell she thought that was her Oscar-winning role, and I was like, this looks terrible.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, it just well, not terrible. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, I'm good on that. I won't be ever watching it. Yeah. But anyways, so
look at Lewis Pullman.
Oh, we're looking at an NPR article right now. Fun public radio.
I read the Oscar nomination, Daniel Brooks.
But anyways, so the Oscars are March 15th, I think.
It's whatever that Sunday is. I have it on my calendar. Don't you worry.
Oh, good. Yes, March 15th.
I have some ideas for. This year is a little easier with the food. Last year was difficult. Yeah. I had to make, I guess it was about what I made. No, I literally have struggled so much with trying to find a food, a name for the food. Last year was difficult.
Yeah. But you know what? We had a good time.
We did. And
you'll be hearing about who wins the trophy this year.
Who won last year? Was it me? Okay, I didn't know if it was you.
No,
I'm not being funny.
You had it on your desk. No, I won the Emmys.
Oh, right.
You have it at your house. You said it's on your desk or something. On your bookshelf.
It is.
You're like, who? Now, okay. let me check my memory.
I have
Who won?
a really bad memory.
Who won that
I
beautiful
thought that
little
was what you
Oscar
won.
last year?
And the book, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the Oscars.
That was
Exciting.
the Oscars. We're really excited. Okay, have you heard about the Queer Eye drama?
No. I saw you put this on
Perfect.
here, and all three things that you put on here, I was like, I don't know anything about these. Lead this lamb to the slaughter.
Okay. Like, here's the thing, especially with, like, there's not much to it. I just want to talk about it. It's interesting. So, the Queer Eye cast, the lovable, positive cast who are always so affectionate, holding hands with each other. They hate each other. No, I don't know.
Okay.
But so they're beefing.
Murder.
There's some tension between the cast members. So basically the show, which is a, Queer Eye, it's a Netflix reboot of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. But so like this version has always been like a more positive, they're not just fixing straight guy styles, they're like kind of
improving,
transforming the lives of like all walks of people.
Yeah.
And so the five of them, so it started out as Tan, Anthony, Jonathan, Bobby, and Karamo. And those were the Fab Five.
I feel like you're naming Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And they always, like I said, they've always appeared to be very close. They're always like very affectionate with each other, and it was always like I loved them as a cat. Like I watched it was like one of those shows where it's like, oh, it's still on, because it's like I watched it like I think when we were in college. That's like when it came out, and it was like I just like loved them. It was just like such a positive show, and like they're all really cute, and like they're just it's just nice to see. But I watched like the first I don't know 4, 5 seasons, maybe 5. It's now on its 10th season, which I had no idea. It's the final season.
One episode and I was bored.
Really?
Yeah,
I used to love it.
People kept saying they were like, you would love this, you would love this. I thought it was, I could see why people loved it.
Yeah. And I'm not a huge reality show person. I didn't really consider it a reality show, but I just loved the cast, and I thought it was just interesting to see. But basically the final season's about to come out and actually takes place in DC this season. So that's interesting. But so this all kind of comes off of Bobby, if you don't know. He's the home fixer, interior design, or the interior person. Home interior person. Yeah. He left the show last year, I want to say maybe 2 years ago. And basically it was they said it was amicable, but it was clear and he actually came out and said he and Tan had some tension, and he didn't go into specifics, but he said it was a personal thing, and
yeah, I feel whenever people say it's amicable, it's never actually.
Yeah, it seemed like it was, and I always got vibes from them that they didn't like Bobby. Whenever I watched interviews with the five of them, I always got the feeling that they all kind of had tension with him. I don't know what I don't know why I thought that. I just did. But he was replaced by Jeremiah, so he's the new cast member, and so he does the home renovation stuff now. And so, anyway, the cast was on CBS Mornings to do press for their upcoming season, and it was Tan, Anthony, Jonathan, and Jeremiah. And Karamo was notably absent, and Gayle King says on live on the show, she reads a statement on the air from Karamo's assistant, and she's like, basically, Karamo is not coming. He's not going to he's not going to participate in these interviews. And it basically finished with saying, he is worried about being bullied. And it was what?
Wait, Karamo's the one that they all kind of don't...
No, that was Bobby. So
okay.
So Bobby's off the show now.
Right, okay.
But Karamo is... Karamo's the life coach.
Yeah,
he's the one that's
go get it, girl.
Yeah, he will talk to them and kind of he's the therapist sort of. Okay. I don't really know another way to explain it, but... He helps them fix their lifestyle, how they their mental how they think or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. And so he did not come to. He wasn't participating in any of the press, and he said out of fear of being bullied. And so Gayle asked him about this, and Anthony kind of says this he's it is upsetting, but he's we're a family, and families can be complicated, and he just kind of shifts it to but look what this show is about, the heroes. They call them heroes. Yeah. And he's just he's just kind of more talking about what they do on the show. And then Jeremiah says that he's just like, I've always felt welcomed and supported. Like, they've always made me feel welcome. And Gail was like, well, I don't think we should negate what Karamo's feeling. And they're like, no. And so afterwards, and it was just kind of wild because, like, again, like, you can tell the cast had just heard this, like, maybe before they came on. Like, that he had, like, they probably were hearing the statement for the first time there. Like, I don't know. But it was, like, very weird. And everyone was like, what? Bullied? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so it's been released that apparently this started because there was a hot mic moment on the set of the show where I guess Tan, Anthony, and Jonathan were talking about Karamo when he left the room. And his mom, Karamo's mom, was visiting set that day, and she had headphones on, and so she could hear them talking about her son.
Oh, no.
And it just said, they didn't say what they were talking about, but they just said that they were judging and criticizing his lifestyle choices.
This would be me, like, if I were on a set, I would just be like, I would forget I'm wearing a mic constantly, always talking shit.
So crazy. And so he apparently unfollowed all of them except Jeremiah.
People checking those unfollows.
Oh, I know.
Always.
And
except Jeremiah.
Jeremiah's
like, I'm just here for a good time. I'm just
here for the vibes.
Not a long time.
Yeah, he's like, I just came out of this show. What's going on?
He's like, wait, what's the show called again?
And Bobby's messy ass. Oh my God. So he kind of had like this like shady response to it all. It just really made me laugh. He like literally the day after the day after that this all came out, he like posted on Instagram and TikTok. He was like promoting. He has a new HBO show, and he was promoting. And he just goes, "How's everyone's week going?" And like the music was "My Kink Is Karma" by Chappell Roan.
Oh,
and so
funny.
Everyone was just like, "No, Bobby." Like,
that's a good. That's a
so
good
funny.
subtweet.
It's just like so wild. I mean, it's at this point it's kind of old news now. I feel like this came out like a few days ago, but it's just interesting because Bobby did leave the show. He's like confirmed that it was because of a falling out with Tan. So it's like, I'm just like, what is Tan like? They seem like maybe like a little bit meanness going on.
And I could see that. I feel like whenever you get a group of people together, like, I think that's just human nature almost, is like they're going to be mean to one person, which is not that it's right or fair. It just always happens. It's not Jeremiah.
And it's like, it could be one of those things where it's like, okay,
not
Jeremiah.
Not him. He was fine.
It just killed me on the interview, though, when he tries to start. He's like, I've always felt welcome and supported, and Gail is like, quiet. Quiet and new.
Yeah. Like, actually, who are you?
Yeah. And he's just like, oh, no. And so it's like Bobby's gone, and so maybe now Karamo's the new, what do you call that, like odd person out?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting, and it makes me kind of sad because I like love the I don't care about the show anymore that much. It's been on too long. But I used to love the show. I thought they were, but it's so funny to watch them. Like like I said, they're very affectionate with each other, which is nice to see. But it's like, you should have seen them in the interview. They're like all holding, like Anthony and Jonathan are holding hands, and Jeremiah and Tan are holding hands. It's very wicked, and it's like, no one got shot. Like, just let go of each other.
I think it's also one of those things they're gonna reconcile. I bet part of it is because they've all worked together also for so long. They're with each other day in, day out. And it's also like, I mean, I don't know what they said, but also sometimes it's like, people are going to say things about you that you say things like that you spend all day, every day with.
Karamo, even though he's the life coach, I'm sure he's talked shit about one of them at least. You
know?
Right,
exactly.
And it's true. That's kind of what they all have said whenever there's been rifts, is like, it's sort of their PR answer, but it's true that it's like, we're like brothers and brothers fight. And like it, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but it is true.
Yeah.
And, there could be jealousy involved. I do
Crazy
think...
that his mom heard.
I know. Can you imagine? I'm sure, like, oh. And the thing is, it's interesting because one of the things I always noticed with the show or with interviews is, like, so the kind of common joke with Bobby was that, like, they'd all be, like, going off and doing their thing. You really wouldn't see Bobby the whole episode because he'd be, like, working on, like, so everybody would always joke, like, like they're all like doing cooking classes with Anthony while like Karamo or Bobby's like building a house.
Yeah.
And it's true that like, yes, but he did have like, he had a team, obviously. It was never just him. It was always like other people with him. And one time I remember this just like stood out to me because I was like, like they were making that joke in an interview, and like either Tan or Anthony or Jonathan, one of them was just like, it's not just Bobby, he has like a team with him. And you could tell they were kind of fed up with the joke almost. And like they were kind of saying that they were like, it's not just him, it's like other people. And I was like, interesting. I wonder if that's like a point of tension too.
Yeah, I could see that. Interesting.
So that's all I had about the Queer Eye drama. But
wow,
it's just
good to know.
It was crazy. I was like, oh God, I had to talk about that.
Wow, good luck to them in their final season.
I love when you say that. You're just like, good luck to them.
Yeah, good
like,
luck.
What else can you say?
Good luck to you and your family.
And you know what? Families fight. Brothers fight. And that leads me into my next topipic.
Okay, I also don't know about this.
It's just really come out today. It's kind of interesting. So Josh and Benny Safdie, who are the Safdie brothers.
Yeah.
Kind of the indie filmmaker brother duo.
Can you consider them indie?
No, I don't know. Well,
yeah.
I think Good Time was. I think
I've never
Uncut
heard of it,
Gems, so. I would say, was probably.
Really?
A24 was like an indie.
True, it just
production.
isn't anymore. Yeah.
Right. But they have apparently been feuding. I didn't know they split up in 2023. They've like now make their movies separately. I didn't know that. I really didn't.
I was wondering why they were making different movies.
I know. And so one
made the Smashing Supreme.
Yes.
The Smashing
Supreme.
The Smashing
Marty Machine.
Yeah.
Hey,
whoa. There we go.
One of them is an actor, and I think it's Benny is the one who's like in Oppenheimer.
Are they twins or brothers?
I don't think they're twins.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, but they have been split up for years. They did like Uncut Gems. They did the movie Good Time, which had Robert Pattinson in it. And so like I said, I didn't know, but it's kind of come to light from a recent Page Six article of like why, like what kind of started their feud. But basically on the set of their 2017 movie Good Time, which like I said stars Robert Pattinson. And I think one of the brothers is in the movie, but I just don't, I swear I don't know the difference between them. Like, I get them confused. So one of the brothers is like also, he's the other guy in the movie.
Yeah.
But basically there was an incident that's apparently kind of like driven a wedge between the two. But Page Six claims that on the set of Good Time, a non-actor who was high on set exposed himself to an underage actress during a nude scene and asked if he could, quote unquote, stick it in. And Josh watched from the monitors without calling cut while Benny held the boom mic. And so the actress's age came to light later, which supposedly fueled tensions between the two brothers. Apparently, like, so people are saying, like, Josh was apparently the de facto leader on set and not Benny. So Benny is kind of, like, looking better right now, I guess.
Yeah.
And apparently Josh allegedly knew the actress's age. And the Safdies removed the scene before the movie came out. So, but it's just interesting. So all this is kind of coming to light. But it's, like...
why would that, like, cause a rift between them?
So that's what I'm kind of... I think it's, like... According to this, it's that Josh knew about it and like
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so they split in 2023. Their Netflix project that was supposed to come out was scrapped. Josh's movie Marty Supreme obviously just came out and has like a bunch of Oscar nominations. Benny did The Smashing Machine, I believe. And so...
Which horrible box office, too.
Yeah, whereas, like, Josh, but no, and it's just interesting because I just saw an article, I don't know if you saw this, but Timothée Chalamet said that there was a guy on set who was not an actor. He was, like, in prison for, like, years, and he was in the scene, I think it's a scene where he's in the motel, and he said that this guy was, like, really getting in his face, like, really kind of, like, actually kind of got, like, serious for a second.
Yeah.
Timothy, he was joking, but he was just like, what people are you having on this set? Like, this is kind of crazy. So it's just interesting. It's like, and this guy was a non-actor.
That
the
is
guy
interesting.
that was the creep. So it's just like, what is going on? I don't know. I wanted to bring that up because it just came, I might be like missing a few details here, but that's kind of the gist of it.
That's interesting. And I believe it. It's a shame. I feel like Hollywood really does split families apart.
But I'm like one of them knew about and the other didn't. I don't know. It's interesting to me.
I don't know. Maybe there's more to it. Because also it could be just a thing like that happened, but there was also already like maybe creative rifts or something in the relationship. So maybe it's like that was like the final tipping point. I don't know.
I think, Josh blamed somebody for hiring a minor, and that person pushed back and was like, the producers like isn't responsible for ensuring her age. Or that, like, he wasn't the producer who was responsible for ensuring that. And so it just it became like a whole thing. But I don't know.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it sucks to be. Which one did?
But they're I mean, the thing is, Smashing Machine is nominated, so they're both sort of at the.
Yeah.
They're like.
One, I will say, does seem clearly better than the other, which 100%. Is unfortunate.
This one I'm like so excited to talk about.
Okay, I'm curious about this too.
It's really not that crazy. I don't know why I'm like excited.
No, I'm excited.
But do you know the Glambot guy? Yep. Okay.
I don't know his name, but I know his long hair. I know
he's got that beautiful long hair.
Cool. He's using that Blake Brown.
Yep. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, he's definitely not.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
So, no. But he's at all the award shows. For those who don't know, it's like the Glambot machine is like it's like all the celebrities do it at the award shows where it like, first of all, you know what I miss? Little manicure. Remember the manicure, the Manny, the Manny cam?
Yes, where they would walk across. Yes.
Bring that back. Why don't we have the Glambot? I'm tired of the Glambot, okay? Because some of the new celebrities are good at it. Some aren't, and then it's like humiliating and it ruins their lives. Like Joey King's, for example.
It's kind of tough because sometimes like I see celebrities do like something that you think is gonna look so fierce.
Have you seen the Taylor Swift one where she's like,
no,
it's like, I'm sorry, it's really bad, and it's not her. It's no one's fault.
Do they not let them retake it? Like, I bet
they're just on a time crunch. I think sometimes they can look at it, but other times they're probably just like, we gotta keep moving.
You know what I miss? The fashion police.
And
people used to say that they were too mean. I don't care. Whatever.
Sometimes we need meanness.
Yeah. Sometimes like you're wearing what you're wearing.
Juliana Rancic.
Oh yeah.
Kind of. She's said some problematic stuff, but I mean, I think like. This Glambot thing is like, okay, it was cool at first. We don't need to keep bringing it again, especially if they're not good at it. And a Glambot's hard. We did the thing. It's hard.
It is. We had to do it, I think, 3 times, and we were just, it was you, me, and Megan
imagine
standing
on, like, the biggest
there.
Night of your life. Yes. You're like, I don't care about this. I'm trying to just like win an Oscar maybe.
And you know what I will say? We got to give some credit to Joey King, who we love her thumb one. She redid it though. She did a different one. It was a really good one. So props to her. She'll never live that down. Or Sigourney Weaver just being like, smile.
That's a bad one.
That
She's
one's
looking
good.
off.
But like again, like when it first started, people were just like, sure, what? Anyways, continue.
So the guy always seems really happy, right? He's always like very nice. Whenever I see like interviews of him, he's always like, or not interviews, but like in the videos where the person's coming up to do the Glambot, he always seems like very nice. Like, hey, I'm Cole. His name is Cole Walliser. Walliser? Wow. I don't know how to say his last name.
He looks like a Cole.
I love the name Cole. It's Walliser. I think it's Walliser. I don't know. But he always like seems very positive and upbeat and like nice. And then so what started this was like a video of J-Lo, because sometimes that people will like dissect, like, was Anya Taylor-Joy nice enough to him, like whatever. Yeah. And it's like there was one of J-Lo where she just like didn't speak to him at all, and she was like, you know, just kind of cold and J-Lo-ish. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then that sparked. So what started out with like people being like feeling sorry for him and being like, oh, people should be nice, is now like some people calling him out for like actually being a dick. So I gotta read you these.
Okay.
So this is crazy. So basically, this bride reached out to Cole asking if he does weddings, like if he could bring his Glambot to like her wedding. Mm-hmm. And if she could like hire him. And so she emailed him and like, so I'm gonna read you the screenshots.
His email. God. Anyways.
I don't know, but now it's like you can. I'm sure he's now at this point he's got to have like deleted this, but. Well,
continue. Sorry.
I see his website. Anyway, so she emails him and basically like like I said, she asks, you know, for like, does he do weddings, and like if so, like what would the rates be? And he emails back and says, thanks for reaching out. Just so you are aware, the Glambot is a camera system and personnel used by a network television station for one of the biggest red carpets of the year. It is not cheap. If you feel like something like this might be within your budget range, then I am happy to discuss further. Thanks. And so she's like, yeah, that's why I reached out. So she's like, yeah, it's something in my budget range, smiley face, thanks. And he goes, copy. I don't see how you could be, since I didn't say how much it was, and could be between $10,000 and $1 million.
what kind of price range is that?
Okay, first of all, and also, like, what is it? What do you mean could
also,
be? Like,
how is she supposed to tell you if it's in her range or not if you didn't tell her what the range... Like,
right, and, like, what is this little, like, catch you, like, gotcha, like, I don't see how you could. I didn't tell you what it was yet.
Also, to reply to an email with copy.
Yeah, what?
What do you...
And also, it's just, like, that...
Walkie-talkie.
It's so weird. And she goes... Yeah, I just assumed it was very pricey since it's featured at the Oscars. So what are the steps to book? Would you be the person that comes, or do you just work with them for red carpets? What's the rundown? And he said, it's a crew of about 15 people plus network setups, rehearsals, gear drop-off, camera rental, lighting rental, insurance, permits, etc., etc. He's still not giving her... Like, just tell her the price.
Yeah.
He's just being like, this is... Like, are you sure?
For your wedding. Yeah. Your little wedding. Yeah.
And so she goes, so where would I begin? Through you, or is there a website? And he goes, okay, it's $300,000. I'll take a 10% deposit to secure the gear, and once I have the deposit, I can do a contract. Ready to get started? And she goes, thanks, Cole. I'll reach out by Monday. Okay, sometimes people need a second to think about it. That's how things work.
Especially when you're being weird already.
Right. So but she's just like, she'll probably say yes. She's just saying, like, I'll reach out by Monday. He goes, if you wanted to know how much it costs, you just needed to ask. You don't need to pretend you are going to book it. Freak. What a freak.
What?
And so then she goes, I did, ... That's why I asked. I want to book it, ? And that was the end of that. But, okay, so I want to preface this by saying, so somebody, like said who, like, I guess they found out who it was. This woman had 3 weddings. She had 3 separate ceremonies. She is very much within the price range.
Yeah.
Clearly, because she didn't even ask.
She was like,
smiley face.
She was like, if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
She was very nice in her email. She was just like, just tell me the price range.
What?
Why was he being such a weirdo?
Maybe he thought that she was like some journalist in disguise.
I wonder.
Something.
That's what I wonder if he, like, it did come off as like he thought she was like some kind of prank. But if she was like a prank, how would she have gotten his email? You know what I mean? I don't imagine it's that easy to email him.
I wonder if she ever actually booked it.
I hope not. I hope she doesn't deal with him. And then these other, like, some other people are coming out now just, like, kind of giving their, like, experiences with him. Like, he apparently a lot of people have said, like, he's really nice to celebrities, but, like, acts like you're the dirt under his shoe. Like, if you're not a celebrity.
That. I feel like that's what so many people in Hollywood are like.
So it kind of reminds me, I'm not comparing him to Ellen DeGeneres, but it's like that thing where it's like we've always seen a certain side of somebody like Ellen, where it's like, remember when we all thought like Ellen was so nice and because she's nice to celebrities, but then like people who weren't as famous were like sharing their horrible experiences with her. And it's like, people are going to be nicer to celebrities.
Right. And also, I just have to say, how nice is he to have let Joey King keep that glam bot? You know what I mean?
He didn't see that.
He's seeing them, and he's like, you're good. That looks great.
True.
How nice is that?
But I do think, so some of that could just be, I mean, a red carpet is like, you have 2 seconds to talk to somebody, and then you got to move on.
I would have been like, hey, girl, you got to come back.
Yeah, right.
Girl, like, from me to you, you got to redo that.
True.
We got to get it out of here.
But I do think that's where some of it comes from, where it's like, I mean, he didn't even tell Taylor Swift that hers was terrible. So it's like...
And that would also be kind of scary, too, I can imagine.
True. Yeah.
But also people being like, oh, he's so nice. It's like, we see maybe 5 seconds of him every video just, like, adjusting, right? Like, it's not like we're seeing a whole lot of it. He's not just adjusting.
It's like he's talking to them. And he's just... I'm not saying... Yes, you're right. I don't know him. But I guess, like... People are saying...
No, I'm not saying, like, you. I'm just saying, like, the masses.
Right. And I think it's, like, just from that little interaction, it's, like, he's like, hey, I'm Cole. Like, and he seems really nice. And anyway, I just think it's just funny. It was just funny. Those emails were wild. I was like, is he, like,
that
a
is
weirdo?
The fun... That she's like, I'm not. I do want to book it, ?
I mean, I think those were real. I mean...
Yeah. It's also weird to, like, email someone like, professional capacity the way he was. Like,
I know.
Even if he thought that she was like, I don't know, a joke, like a prank or whatever, there's a chance that she's not.
It just like wasn't how humans speak. Like it was like a weird, the emails were very weird. I don't know.
Strange.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad. Thank you for taking me on this journey.
Gosh.
Wow. The drama was so good this week.
Not one review today.
Not one, but next
week we've got some things to fill in.
Yeah.
We're really holding on to it too. We're like,
we're like not talking to each other. We sit in silence after this. But we hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you guys have personal drama, no, just kidding.
Please.
Share it on the podcast.
If we're allowed to talk about it, I will consider it pop culture.
There is nothing better than sitting down with some fresh tea.
Yeah.
And it's just like Let's rehash. Let's go through it. Honestly, let's talk about drama from 3 years ago, because I've still got that spark in me. You know what I mean? I'm ready to show up to the knife fight with my drama.
Yeah. Oh. Do you have your dragons, Khaleesi?
No dragons, just drama.
Okay.
I'm going to get that on a pillow and send it to Blake Lively.
Actually,
that'd be cruel.
No, it seems like something somebody would post on their Instagram story.
Yeah, like some really like the person from your hometown where it's like really vague.
It's a local, yeah.
It's like, oh, not everyone whose family is blood, and then the next one is like no drama.
And it's like a picture of somebody from Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, yeah, and you're just
that's why. Did I ever tell you that's why Matthew never watched Peaky Blinders? Is because he was like, the memes are just so cringe. It's like these like
I forgot
Facebook
to tell you,
people. What?
This guy at Men's Warehouse, he was from the UK. He said he's from Birmingham. He had a Peaky Blinders haircut.
No.
My dad and I couldn't understand a word that man said.
Yes.
I asked him, I said, what's your favorite soccer team? I don't know. I have no idea what he said. And I said, wow, that's awesome.
I really want to rewatch Peaky Blinders. Should I rewatch it after I'm done with Mad Men?
No, you should watch Industry.
But I want to watch Peaky Blinders. It's such a No, the new movie's coming out in March, so I have to.
When was the last time you rewatched it?
It's been a few months.
Girl, you gotta update your rotation.
But the movie's coming out. I might have forgotten everything.
I haven't watched it since the pandemic.
That's crazy. I could never.
I know.
I need to watch. I haven't watched Succession.
I'm not a big
time.
rewatcher though.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
I was when when we had cable. But if I have to there's just so much to watch.
That's true. It does kind of give cable a little bit, but I just love. I have comfort shows.
That's fine. Most people do. I'm just crazy. But anyways, we hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. As always, please like, rate, review, subscribe, and share this with your dramatic friends. Most importantly, we want more people to discuss with, to chat with, and we want your support. Mm-hmm. So anyways, hope you guys are staying warm, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.